Thanks to Corwin Motors for sponsoring the Keeping Score podcast. At Corwin Motors, they're proud to be family-driven for over 100 years. Their commitment goes beyond selling cars. They're dedicated to serving our community and providing you with the highest quality vehicles to fit your lifestyle. Whether you're searching for reliability, style, or comfort, they got you covered. They understand that you rely on their website for accurate and up-to-date information, and it's their promise to deliver relevant, detailed content that meets your needs. So if you're in the market for a new Chevrolet or just want to learn more, visit CorwinMotorsKalispell.com. Welcome, everybody, to the Keeping Score podcast. I'm your host, Josh Amick. We have a special guest today, and it's a one-on-one interview with the new Range Riders manager, Todd Pratt. Todd, thank you for joining us. So, for people who don't know at home, Todd is a 14-year MLB veteran, joining the Range Riders this year, has a ton of experience. I kind of want to talk to you about what has it been like coming here to the Valley so far in the transition. You came here from Georgia, correct?
Yeah.
So how's the transition been coming out here to the Valley?
Probably the best decision I ever made to bring my family here. I was a special advisor for this organization from the get-go, and every year I'd come, I'd say, God, this place is beautiful, But being not from the South, but living in the South, it was like, I don't know if I would like to come here. This is more maybe a vacation spot.
Yeah.
But then when we decided, my wife and I, that let's make the move and let's do this thing. Traveling up here on February 2nd, probably not the smartest choice in weather times.
Yeah.
And the long drive with a couple moving trucks and a couple vehicles in tow. But once we got to Columbia Falls and moved into the house, every day is a blessing.
Yeah, I've talked to some managers in the past, and it seems like everyone who comes on board with the Range Riders has had some sort of connection with the team. So kind of talk to me a little bit about that connection of you being an advisor to the team and then eventually getting to the role you're in now.
Well, I think it's getting close to 20 years knowing the Kelly family, and there was an opportunity for me here day one, but I just did not want to come up here, but I would help the Kelly family and the Glacier Range Riders. With the turnover, I just said it's time for me to come up here and look at this place, So my wife's happy, my kids are happy, I'm happy, and it's the easiest. I'm 30 minutes away maybe from the stadium, but it's the easiest drive and the most beautiful drive to come to the ballpark. Yeah,
and then how has the transition been for you personally, just going from an advisor role to a managing role? How has your roles kind of changed and like the day-to-day look?
Well, now I'm the leader, and it's a lot of pressure, but I've been through this for years, so I kind of laugh at the pressure now, because my job is to teach these young men, first, to be a man, and second is make them a better ball player.
I also want to talk about, this is just a personal opinion that I have. You are a 14-year MLB veteran, and you are a catcher. I feel like a catcher already is kind of like a manager on the field, right? He has to have that relationship with the pitching staff. He has to kind of help with the alignment, and they always have a good connection with the manager because of, the signs from the dugout and everything. So has that been pretty easy for you to transition that with your history of how much you know ball?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I coached the collegiate level, the pro level, from youth level. It's just a pleasure of mine to enhance these young men and educate them.
You're about a week away from finalizing the roster. I know in the Pioneer League, there's so much turnover, and there's different signing periods, especially once the college baseball season ends and all that. When you're building a roster, are you kind of looking for a specific type of players? Like you want guys who are high contact guys, good clubhouse guys, or things like that? Or does it kind of change throughout the season based off what the team needs?
Well, character is number one.
Perfect.
When we do recruit, there's a lot of phone calls made from different levels of that player, where he played at high school, collegiate, if he was with an affiliate. And the feedback is the number one priority for us is good character, because that's what our brand stands for here at Glacier.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of returning players this year, especially someone like Gabe Howe, who's been with the team for a very long time. Does it help having somebody here who's experienced the Pioneer League before, or does that not really play a factor?
No, you bring up Gabe, and Gabe's a dude.
Yes.
And to be a successful ball club, you need a couple dudes. Mm-hmm. And I think with Liniak coming back, some of the pitchers coming back, that only helps some of these kids that didn't play affiliate and came out of college and showing them what a pro is.
Mm-hmm. How do you think, speaking about being a pro, no one knows that better than you, how do you think your experience is going to be able to translate to these guys where their goal at the Pioneer League is to get that MLB contract? How are you able to translate that into the day-to-day to work?
Well, I think we have a class for 30 minutes every day after lunch. Mm-hmm. And with bringing some of my coaching friends like Mackie Sasser, Turk Wendell, we're just, in those classroom sittings that we're just telling them our life. Mm-hmm. We've been there and done it, everything.
Yeah.
And I think that really the feedback from the players is great. And we talk about life skills, financial skills, just being an adult.
So the class is not really baseball related. It's more like, we would say it's more like life related and just how you can transition and stuff.
It's part of our brand. Here at Glacier wants to pass on to these young men.
That's awesome. And then the other thing I want to talk to you about is last year this team was knocking on the door of winning a championship. How are you going into this year with the expectations and what are your expectations for your team?
Well, our number one priority is to get these players to an affiliate, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a fine line between, do we build a roster to win, or do we build a roster to get these kids, for instance, pitchers? They might be better for the Glacier Range Riders to be in the back end of the bullpen, mm-hmm. but we'd rather see those arms at the starting rotation.
Yeah.
Because that's what the affiliates are looking at.
Yeah, so with you just said before we sat down that you had another player signed with an affiliate. So you're already kind of juggling that already with people being signed with an affiliate. So do you like that side of the job? Because you get to see these kids, live out their dream, or they're men, they're not kids, but you get to see them live out their dream, or does that just kind of be like, all right, back to the drawing board, we got to fill this roster spot?
They're still kids.
Yeah. Okay. Right. You're teaching them.
Yeah, well, and then that's the tough situation.
Yeah.
It's because, all the affiliates have lower teams. Mm-hmm. So they can pick, if someone moves up, they can pick somebody. Here it's a little more difficult due to the fact that we don't have a team under us. Mm-hmm. So that's where you really got to, just equal it all out and just make sure that you're watching. But once again, number one priority is teaching life skills. Number two priority is getting them out of here.
And another thing I want to ask you is just, you're a week away from media day, roster's getting finalized, got the opening day just about 10, 11 days out. How are you feeling with where the team is out now? Do you feel like there's still a lot of work to be done? Or are you starting to feel the excitement with, got the people about out there, the sun's shining? How are you starting to feel about your transition?
Well, I was excited February 5th when I got here.
So it was a 3-day drive.
Yeah, 4. I think it took us 4.
Yeah.
I think everything's going great.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some tough decisions. We have 22 pitchers in camp, and we might keep 13 to 15, and then there's 16. Well, actually 17, because one's in the tournament, in his college tournament, and we're going to get down to 13. So there's some great competition. Our morning work, I think most folks probably just think they show up, we take BP and play a game. But, our day starts at 8 o'clock and we're leaving at 5. So it's like a regular job. Mm-hmm. During the season, I think I've had a lot of fans say, what time do they get to the park? About 6?
About noon last year.
The clubhouse opens at 12 and they're leaving at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. So it's long days. And don't get me wrong, I know everybody has to work, but to work at a baseball field and be a baseball player, it's a dream come true even at this level, because there's so many millions of baseball players and kids that want to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one of the other things I wanted to ask you was you have the connection with the Kelly family, but you also have a connection with being the Sunbelt commissioner for a while. Do you kind of have players in that Sunbelt division that you're kind of keeping an eye on to see what their availability is like? Some guys you've been like looking at for years.
Yeah, most definitely.
And when does that period open up when you can sign players like that?
Well, at any time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if they would have to look for grads, right?
Yeah.
Or if that kid makes a decision that I'm done with school, even though I'm a junior, right? We actually have someone in our camp that played in the Sunbelt League.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're hoping he makes a team, and that would be a blessing.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say to the people listening, or anything about you that I may have missed?
Go Range Riders.
Yeah. We're excited to have you here in the Valley. I want to thank Todd Pratt for joining us on the podcast today. Thank you to our sponsor, Corwin Motors. We'll see you all next week on another episode of the Keeping Score podcast. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Todd. I appreciate you.
Take care.
A fire that broke out on a cold and dark February morning in 2024 sent the small northwest Montana town of Knoxon reeling. Beginning in the Angry Beaver General Store on Knoxon Avenue, the conflagration would eventually claim a neighboring restaurant and a storied bar. The town had lost 3/4 of its business community by the day's end. 7 months after the fire, people were still wondering, will Knoxon recover? Can it mount a comeback? What will rise from the ashes?
Stream Season 3 of the Daily Interlakes Deep Dive podcast on your favorite audio platform, or catch the 2-part series on our YouTube channel.